Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a full tour of my 1998 GMC Safari van. This thing is a 1998 GMC Safari van. It has since been lifted. It is a 4x4. I kind of built it as an Overland style van life van. And since I'm out here on a 70+ day road trip, living the van life in the mean streets of Canada, I thought I would show you what I'm living in. I've been posting a lot of shorts, posting a few videos, more later. But I just think not everyone's been here for that long. Not everyone's seen what I've done. Not everyone's seen the build. So we're just going to go along. I'm going to show you everything there is to know about my 1998 GMC Safari van. I don't really believe in naming vehicles, so I don't have a name for it. But if you feel free to come up with something, and I'll probably not call it that. Anyways, this van, 1998 GMC Safari van, it's got about a 4, maybe a 3-4 inch lift. The Journey's off-road. I lifted it, and I've actually since lowered it. I added heavy-duty aftermarket marketplace find leaf springs in the rear. And then at that point, I lowered it from where it was originally. It's got, I believe, 31.06 inch tires. They are 255/70 R17s, and these are on Impala rims, 1996-ish. Mid-90s Impala SS 17-inch rims. I did not buy those. Frankly, I probably would not put those on my van, but they were on here when I got them, and I didn't have the heart to take them off. I think they look good. If I were to do this again, I might put slightly smaller tires on, but that's not what this video is about. We're doing the full tour. As you can see, it is 4x4 swapped with the S10 transfer case. I used the help of the Journey's shift install kit or whatever. So that's in there. 31-inch tires, lifted. If we go around the front, we got big LED off-road lights. These are just some sort of Amazon special. And a custom homemade grill that I made myself. And then if we go around back, you can see I got the hitch-mounted bicycle carrier. I got a Cannondale bike that I have not used this entire trip. And frankly, it's gotten absolutely beat by all the dust spraying off the back of the van. But I could use it if I wanted to. And also on top of the van, we got my 15-foot Clipper Solitude canoe. So that's pretty much covers everything on the outside of the van, the important bits. Let's go inside. Now, if we open this door up, this is my living space. I got my shoes and a floor mat. I got my This is my ready-to-go bin that slides under my bed, and we're just going to get that out. We will go through every one of these bins in a minute, but I'm just going to get them out so I can show you what we're doing in here first. And then we're going to hop right up inside here. So, inside my van here, in the front, we got a fridge. This is a Booge RV fridge. It's got a bunch of stuff in there, some Boursin cheese, it's bread, Reese piece, pretty much the essentials. Anyways, this is my bed, and as you can see, it is not the most comfortable place for me to sit in here. The bed is kind of low, so you're always kind of laying down or you're outside. But anyways, this is the what I got inside here. I got smoke and CO detector, my friend to keep me company, pillows. These are my blinds. We'll talk more about the blinds in a minute. And then I got a fan up here. Lights. I got pee bottles in the back. Spare clothes. This is an absolute van life essential. This is a portable, rechargeable USB powered fan. Absolute essential. Trying to get through summer, you need this thing. Anyways, I got a giant bag of clothes, which is now outside. These are just my clothes that I like to have handy. I got a casual shirt, shorts, hoodie. I don't know what that is. These are the shorts I play disc golf in. I live kind of in a mess in here, but that's just the reality of my personality. I got a camera bag. And then I got this here cabinet. Historically, I built this van with that cabinet in mind to keep food in. that is not a thing that can do, because I have gotten mice in here. If you watch this channel, you know my battle with mice and PTSD from the mice. So you cannot put food in there. So inside, instead, I got things like my axe. I got a drone. I think this is a blanket. That's a down blanket from Temu. What else is in here? This is a Temu chair. Dry bag. This is my camping mattress. I got a Jenga game. This is my collapsible table. Sweatpants. Down jacket. That's a blanket. And I believe there's some fluids in the back. So that's pretty much that. That's the bed. And we'll have to hop out of here again. If you go over here, I can essentially flip this bed up, put this leg up in here, and then you can see what I got going over here. First of all, this is a cable that runs to my solar panels, and I guess I'll show you later. This is a porta potty, or Alliance Hassock portable toilet. I guess I'll show you how we use that later. This bag of clothes out of my way. So we have 2 bins that fit under the bed, and then we have 1 bin here, which is going to be our main food and kitchen bin. And then above that, this is going to be my camp stove. This is just a Woods 2-burner camp stove. Just a standard camp stove. I will say that camp stove makes it very tough for me to cook inside. I can either cook on this shelf or on the bed, and you can imagine neither are that good of options. Anyways, if we go back under the bed, we got 2 bins. This one's gonna be a secondary kitchen bin. And I chose those specific bins for a reason. First of all, they're this perfect height, so the van was built around them. But second of all, you can stack them like that outside the van. And if you put the camp stove on top, use it as a cooking surface. You could, what can I do? I could do all sorts of stuff. I can write in my journal if I was that kind of guy, or prepare food, or whittle a knife, whatever. You can use it as a table. So those bins are very handy. And then if we go further, way back under there, I have 1 more bin. We actually have 1 more bin. I forgot that I had an extra bin. But first, to get at it, we got to pull this out and then pull on the bin. That is part of a canoe cart. And if we go up here, you can see more of the canoe cart. More on the canoe cart later. Let me pull this one out. This is just my extra stuff bin. Bike helmet, dry bag, sleeping bag, inflatable pump for the tube that I have never used. So we have 3 of those small bins, 1 full-size bin. And then if we continue further down our rabbit hole here, we got, oh, that's not gonna come out that way. Well, since I cannot get that final bin out without taking stuff out, we're gonna take that stuff out now. So if you look under here, I have some miscellaneous loose stuff. I got a life jacket, my pair of hiking shoes. These are waterproof. These are water shoes. They are coast shoes, so they're meant to be in and out of the water. I use them for canoeing when I'm not using Crocs. Underneath that is a box of wrenches. I got ratcheting wrenches, and since we're talking about tools, actually, we can go in here, and that's a solar panel, that's a barbecue, those are fire starters. That's a jug of water. Behind there, there's a whole bunch of tools. I got two different I got a tool box, a ratchet set. Normally those wrenches would be down there, but I have them out for, I have really no idea why I have them out. But also in here, I got a big first aid kit and a lantern. And again, my water. Ooh, I got squirted. That is an 18-liter jug of water. No. Yeah, 18-liter jug of water. That's my water that I use. I also have 10 liters of emergency water at the back, which we'll see, which I don't like to use. It's my emergency water. Also putting out fire water, but obviously if I have to use it, I have to use it. I also always have a water filter with me. We'll talk more about that later. But let's go back to over here. This is my bailing bucket and sponge. I got trekking poles. I have 2 canoe paddles. The final piece to my canoe cart, that is a yoke, so I can carry my canoe. And then I got this 10x10 pop-up shelter, which we'll talk more about in a minute. And then I'll reach one down here. Oh, I have one more thing. That is a portable air compressor. You can't see it, but I promise you it is a Smitty built portable air compressor. And that is my canoeing barrel. We'll talk more about all these bins and barrels in a minute. But first, I do want to say one of these paddles is a bent shaft paddle. That is my main canoeing paddle. The other one is just a plain straight shaft paddle. That is my backup paddle, because when you're paddling solo, you do not want to have 0 paddles. Anyways, more on my 10x10. I guess I'm gonna have to put that up to show you what it looks like. But I like these better than a awning. I have never actually used an awning on my van. I've used an awning when I was a kid on my parents' RV. But I like the 10x10 pop-up shelter because you can take them anywhere. You can either put them up next to your van, or if for some reason I wanted to go way down there, or if I wanted to go to the beach, or if I wanted to go to a barbecue in my friend's backyard, I can just grab my cheap $69 Walmart 8x8 canopy or the bigger 10x10. I'm traveling in the summer. I plan on not being in the rain that much, so I have the 8x8. But you can put that thing up anywhere and you have shelter. Instead of if you have an awning attached to your van, you can only be next to your van. And I just think that's, like, what's the point of that? Although I guess you do have to make space for that inside the van, which is not easy, but as you see, it did fit under my bed. Some other things in the back of the van that are always handy. This is my towel and bathing suit combination. It hangs here to dry. In here, I got dude wipes. These are fire starters. I got a broom. That's a tire inflator tool. That's a bowl. That's a tire repair kit. Some random cables. This is a blower. I actually broke it. And this is a blower that you can use to blow on your fire to get it going. What else you got in here? I got my spoon to go with my bowl. I think I got 2 spoons to go with my bowl. Some TP. Whatever. Bug repellent. Just stuff that I like to have handy. And we might as well go in the front here. Stuff we like to have handy. We got toilet paper. We got an umbrella. We got a tie wire. That's my pass. My souvenir from the Berg Lake Trail. That's pretty much that. There's a spark plug wire there. We got my Temu backpack here. This is a bag where I got my daily daily on the go stuff. Battery charger, my headphones are charging right now. I think we got, what do we got in here? We got a Zoleo, my portable satellite messenger, always on me. Just stuff I want to always have on me. Sometimes I'll have a knife in there. Sometimes I'll have bear spray. Or my wallet is another thing that goes in there. Sunglasses. As a glasses wearer, you always have to have glasses or prescription sunglasses. So the other one likely goes into that bag. Underneath my Temu bag, I got my real backpacking bag. It's a Gregory. I think I've only done 6 days of backpacking, but also some overnight camping. It's just my big backpack. You can only have a certain amount of backpacks here. You got a regular backpack, and then you got your big load backpack. What else we got up here? We got all my discs for disc golf. I got a window shade, all my recycling, my shopping bags, my tires. Again, those are my tires for my canoe cart. We got a Salted from Manitou Lake. That is a throw bag for my canoe. I got a dry bag backpack. That's a foot pump for a bicycle. And then the one other thing is we have a stool so that we can get up to look at our van, or we can look at our canoe. And as I said, it's the Solitude by Clipper. And then if you look over here, I have solar panels mounted to my roof rack. That was an addition for this year, and that has been an absolute fantastic addition to this trip. Having solar panels on the roof, it charges my battery, which mostly powers my fridge. That's the most important thing. It charges whenever I'm not driving and there's sun on my roof. I also have more solar panels, which, you know what, we'll get to them right now. I have these solar panels, which tuck up nicely behind my fridge. And then if we go back under the bed, you can see I got power under here. And that lower one, that is where those solar panels plug in. Side note, I have household power here, if I were to turn that on. And then those wires, that wire comes out, and if you follow it all the way over there, and I take my solar panels, I basically take these solar panels and I can put them anywhere. They're on magnets. And then I can come over here and plug those two into there. And now I have two solar panels on a 25-foot cable that plugs into right there, and behind there, that's where all my battery and all my system is. So it's pretty cool, because what I like to do, if the sun's out, I'll put them on my hood on magnets, but I can also put them on the side of my van in magnets. Or because I'm on a 25-foot long cable, I could move them to anywhere that the sun might happen to be. Wherever the sun might be, my solar panels can go. So those are the auxiliary panels, but it is still really nice to have the ones on the roof that are just charging all the time without having to put those ones out. Huge upgrade this year. I think the front is pretty much done, except we're gonna have to go over here. These are all my passes starting to add up. Side note, all my windows, my two side pop-out windows, have bug mesh on there, so I can have them popped out and not worry about bugs. I also have mouse traps. Absolutely essential to have mouse traps. It's my biggest van tip for anybody, is to have mouse traps with them, because if you get a mouse in my van, mouse in your van like I have, it's absolute nightmare unless you have mouse traps. The only way to deal with it, other than just crying like a baby, which I have done. Anyways, I got a few more things. I got dirty towels, dirty socks, some Crocs, and we'll pop this back down. We'll slide these forward. These are my window covers, and if you can see right there, there's little magnets, and then if you look at my window, there's magnets glued on. Basically, that just magnets on, and this is riveted together. It is 2 layers of Reflectix material. Oh, you might be able to see. 2 layers of Reflectix material with fun foam in the middle, and then, like I said, they're just magneted on, and I riveted the material together because the glue doesn't really hold, and they've been great. They go on all my windows, and then on the front here I just have this bad boy which unfurls, and it is a Reflectix barrier to block off the front, make it stealth. I like to use it when I'm at a regular campsite. I'm not really worried about stealth, but it makes me feel like the mice, if they came in my van, will stay up front and not bother me in the back. I do not know if that makes sense, if that's sound logic, but that's another reason why I like to have that divider. But with that being said, I'm gonna go show you everything in my bins. Now, you know what? I'm gonna show you my 10 by 10 pop-up canopy first, then we're going into the bins. So there you go. That is the Ozark Trail 8x8 shelter. I do not think it's technically waterproof, but I have found it pretty waterproof. But I will say I have already burned some holes in it because I don't really care about this thing. If I put it too close to the fire, then I put it too close to the fire. It's meant for comfort. Put up a shelter real quick wherever you want. If that's by the fire, it's by the fire. It costs 69 bucks. And if I have to buy one every camping season, then to me it's worth it, because they're very cheap, easy, effective. It's all the things. Like I said, I like these personally better than an awning. Although I have not used an awning, and maybe, just maybe, I wouldn't have this big awkward gap if I had an awning. But one other thing, if I go back here, you can see my hitch tilts down, and we're going to open up this door. I have had a lot of issues with my back door. It breaks a lot, but I also have this gate latch, so now my door will latch. And again, I got pee bottles. This is a paper towel, Van Life Essential paper towel. And then if you go in here, this is very dusty, but that's an access hatch, so I can unlock this door and open it from the inside if I wanted to get out this way. But more importantly, if this door were to not be able to open from the outside like it hasn't historically, I can get in there and open it up. And if we open up this other one, I have, this is my emergency water. This is also my hat rack. So again, I said I had 18 liters up front, which is my main jug of water. And this is my emergency jug of water. And if I pull this out, and we look in here, I have a Noco, that's like a wireless battery jumper. And then if I go under here, I have the rest of that battery jumper. And then this is a Flextail portable shower, which I have only used sparingly. I've used it as a shower twice now, I think, but I've also used it to spray down the canoe, because you're supposed to clean, drain, dry your canoe after using it. And some of the lakes I have canoed in have been very algae filled, and I felt like this is exactly the ones that I'm supposed to clean, drain, dry after using. So I've used it to spray myself down, spray my canoe down. It has been a great addition, this Flextail shower. One last thing I want to show you in here before we get to all the bins. This is my military grade bocce ball set. I got a mini bocce set in an ammo can. I like to call it tactical bocce. I have never used it, but I have all these things with me, like a second chair, this set, board games. I had that Jenga. I had another game in there too, I forget. Just in case you meet a friend on here that you want to hang out with, you have stuff to do. But I don't hang out with people. I'm a lone wolf out here. But if I ever did meet a friend, we could play tactical bocce together. Now, let's look at all these bins. Well, I kind of lied. We're going to look into one more bin at the back door first. And if you look here, this is one of my Temu bins. This is where I keep all my fuel. So I got a bunch of cans of fuel. I got green cans back there. I got a speaker, a sewing kit. This is a camping tarp, but it's mostly just fuel. There's an oil, brake fluid. And yeah, like I said, I got the green fuel bins back there. I got lights. Another good thing about the canopy is you can string LED lights on it and throw a full-on party. But that's my first bin. Let's go on to the rest of the bins. So we're gonna go ahead and open up this barrel bin first. This one is a specific canoeing barrel. It's originally for mango chutney and has backpack straps, but I like to take it canoeing with me to keep my either food in here or to keep the most important stuff dry. But in here I have another tarp. That's my sill tarp. This is a dry bag. This is my canoeing mattress. Slightly different than a backpacking mattress. It's thicker. I got an extra dry bag. This is my tent. This is a Nature Hike Cloud Up one-man tent. And then the rest of this is just freeze-dried meals. I got biscuits and sausage and gravy. I got Alfredo, chili mac. Some of these are Ready-Wise, but a lot of these are Peak Refuel. Cheesy chicken and broccoli. Whatever. Beef and noodles. I think this one's Mountain House classic spaghetti with meat sauce. Anyways, I think I started this trip with like 23 of those. I have not used that many because frankly I haven't actually like been back overnighting on either in the canoe or on land that many days. So I guess that's a good thing. Depends how you look at it. And I will say, at any point in time, anything in any of these bins could be in a different bin. It all depends on how you're rotating. If you're canoeing, then like your canoe stuff has been wet. It can't be in a bin, it has to be out. And if you just went shopping, your food bin is full, so you gotta take some stuff out. And it's just you're just always moving stuff in and out of bins. This is a food bin. I got Matty Matheson, creamy smoky mac food. I got Itchy Band, jalapeno cheddar, dollar store candy, Ziploc bags, some sort of sweet heat trail mix, crunchy peanut butter Cliff bars, some canned stuff, corn medley. I actually quite like this stuff. More Cliff bars, dips, granola bar. That's my extra food, and that all changes whenever you go shopping. And for the record, I mostly just shop at Walmart or Dollarama. And we'll go into this bin. I got my mount for my 3D camera or 360 camera. I got rain gear. This is just a miscellaneous stuff. I got dirty clothes. I got clean clothes. This is my water filter. I always have this MSR gravity fed water filter. A lot of these campsites you've been to, or I've been to, you go to, whatever, they have drinking water, but a lot of them have boil water advisories. So have a filter everywhere you go. It just makes sense to always have a water filter. Even though you're not really backpacking, You never know how often you're going to need to fill your water. Especially 70 days is a long time. To assume you're always going to have good drinkable water is kind of crazy. These are more dirty clothes. This is the really dirty clothes. This is my bin of, I think it's basically just socks and underwear that's too dirty to even be unwrapped up in a bag. I got a safety vest my mom gave me. Extra toilet paper. I carried all the toilet paper, and I think there's a dude wipes in here. And I carried like 5 of these containers of dude wipes with me because, yeah, paper towel, dude wipes, toilet paper. You're living in a van, and it's kind of gross. You're always dirty. You're always stinky. You're stepping in stuff. You got to blow your nose. Like, it's just a mess. So you always got to be clean. And if you're not going to find a shower for like 8 days, you're going to be thanking whoever you want to thank for those dude wipes. They're doing the Lord's work out here. Got one more bin over here. This is just my excess bin. I got a sleeping bag. This is my other half of my first aid kit. This is the stuff I took backpacking. I got a pump to fill up my air tube, like inflatable tube that could float down a river. I've carried that tube with me for 3 years. Never used it, but I could. Dry bag, bike helmet. This is my chair for a second person that I've never met out here. And then I think I have, this is my, well, frankly, I have a Manscaped down there trimmer, and also a beard trimmer for my face. You do not want to use the same one, even though we are tight for space. We would like to shave with a non-ball trimmer on your face. I have that because if I so desire, if I get to civilization, if I need to trim my beard, if I'm going night clubbing with a person I meet at my campsite, you never know, you want to be clean cut, so have it with you. And if you choose to go not shaving your beard, you don't have to. But also, it's in a mousetrap bin. I'll talk about mousetraps again later. This is just a box I used, but mousetraps. I cannot emphasize enough how much I encourage people to carry mousetraps with them. Anyways, let's go into my kitchen bin next. So this kitchen bin is right under my camp stove, and it's always ready to go. So what do I got in here? I got some mesquite barbecue. I will say I do eat like total crap out here. It is so much easier to just, as you see, I don't really have a kitchen in my van. So it's like outside cooking, and it's a lot easier to eat chips and Ichiban noodles than it is to eat like vegetables. I try my best. I don't try my best. I try a little bit sometimes to eat meals that are good for me. But a lot of times it is crap. Like these you just like reheat rices. Anyways, this is my food bin. I got a pot. I got a cutting board with knives. And it's also a bin, so you can put your trimmings right into there. Pretty handy. I got olive oil. I got a toaster. This is my dish bag. I got, well, I'll open it up. I got a flipper. I got tongs. They're good for tonging things on the barbecue or using them to remove a mouse trap with a full mouse out of the van. I got a couple spoons, a fork, 2 bowls. There's only 1 bowl here. One is always handy at the back of the seat. A couple plates, dish soap. You got a knife here. And then we have a fry pan. I use my fry pan more than anything else here. Strainer. I got a coffee cup. I don't drink coffee, but I do drink chai lattes. But also, if I could put anything in here. It could be cold if I wanted it to. I have a cup. I got seasonings, garlic and herb, Parmesan and whatever seasonings. I got salt, peanut butter. Peanut butter is for food, but more importantly, it is to bait mouse traps. I have caught a lot of mice in that van with peanut butter on traps. Always carry peanut butter. These are snack bars, sidekicks. We got a Tupperware. It is nice to be able to save leftovers properly. The first year I did this, I did not carry Tupperware or whatever, plastic containers. And I was like trying to save leftovers in Ziploc bags. And it's just not, it's not a good idea. Cliff bars. I got a marshmallow / wiener roasting stick. I have dried milk powder. That is very handy to have for like a sidekick that needs powdered milk. I also might put it in this chai latte to make a chai latte. When I didn't really plan to, I did not pack milk to this specific campsite. It's nice to have powdered milk. It's not as good as real milk, but it's powdered milk, handy whenever you feel like it. I got a dish towel, a dishcloth. I got a second pot, which is a collapsible pot made of silicone. If you want to, say, cook pasta in your pot and then cook broccoli to go with your pasta, it's nice to have two pots, but it's collapsible because I really don't use two pots. I am by myself most of the time, and like I said, I eat kind of like a piece of crap. So I'm not doing that many extravagant meals out here. What else we got here? Sweet and salty, almond bars, Lucky Charms bars, crispers, cutting board, cheese grater, and pepperoni sticks. These are Walmart pepperoni sticks. Really not good, but they were cheap, so it still didn't really make up for it, but that's what I have. And then I have a can opener. I actually have two of these old school style can openers that I forget how to use literally every time I go to open a can, but eventually figure it out because it's not rocket science. But it is nice to have a can opener. Okay, that is my kitchen bin. I don't think I need to say anything about anything else in here. I do have a water bottle cleaner, which would be handy because those water bottles are going to be out here for 70 days, and if you don't wash them because you can't get your hand in there, kind of gross. But that's pretty much this bin. Yeah, on to the next one. Okay, next we got our portable toilet. I have found, it's important to have a portable toilet, is what I'll say. I do not use it very often, but the times you need to have it, it is totally worth packing. I understand why you'd want to pack something smaller, but I have found multiple uses for this thing, which I will get into. But if you use it a couple times, in the spirit of full disclosure, I one time woke up at 1 a.m. outside of Radium Hot Springs, and I was like camping with other people in a spot I found on Overlander, and I had to poop. There was no, like, I woke up, I had to poop. There was no time. I could not drive to the most local bathroom. Small town, I wasn't going to find anything open at 1 a.m. It was not going to be a good situation. But if you have a portable toilet, and that is the only time you use it, it was totally worth packing. And then other times you camp where you're just not by you're just at there's no bathrooms by your campsite. And like sometimes you're not leaving in the morning because you could just leave first thing, go find a rest stop, go find a McDonald's, go find a Walmart. But sometimes you're just not leaving. You're going to go canoeing that day. So you need to go for your morning poo. So it's worth having a portable toilet with you. I think I've used it 3 times so far this trip. And again, totally worth it because I've used it 3 times. But this one is very simple. It's got a toilet seat. It's got a toilet paper holder. And then it's got a bucket inside of a bucket, for lack of a better word. I've also sealed the bottom. I put a dime and silicone to cover a hole. I use this bucket as I could fill it with water. It's the biggest bucket I have. You can fill it with water and use it as my shower. Also, the lid is black, so if you left it in the sun, it will heat up that cold water you put in there. heated up enough that it's tolerable. The time that I did that, it did not heat it up that much, but that's the theory. So you have this bin that you could use as a shower with the flex tail shower in the back, but you have this bin. This is where the magic happens. I have in here kitchen-sized garbage bags, and then basically you would take a kitchen bag, and you would line this bag like so, and then you have a bucket with a bag, and then you put your lid on, and then you would just use this. You'd sit on it and use the bathroom. You go number 2 in here, and then when number 2 is done, you take your bag and then you tie it up like you would tie up your dog's poo, and then you would take another bag and double layer it. I always like to double layer it, and then I just put it in a Ziploc bag, which we'll get into in there. Always have Ziploc bags handy. And then you have poop packed in 2 bags and a Ziploc bag, and then you just get rid of it as soon as possible. Yeah, that's pretty much how I go to the bathroom. Again, last resort. I do not rely on this. I mostly go to gas stations, Walmarts, rest stops, parks, wherever you can find a bathroom. But definitely worth having a toilet with you. And then we got, this is my bin that's always by the door. This is like my ready to go bin, stuff I want to have handy. So I have water bottles, a 2-liter bottle and a 3-liter bottle. So if you're counting now, I have an 18-liter jug of water. It's my main jug of water. Then I have 5 liters of these big jugs that I always like to keep full. And then my 10 liters of emergency water. That's how much water I like to carry at any given time. That should last like 4 days, I think. With like cooking and cleaning. I don't really do a lot of cleaning, which actually we'll get into. Yeah, 4, maybe 5 days if you're pushing it with water. Then if you go off grid, if you can't find water, whatever, that's how much water I carry with me. So, well, I guess we'll talk about it with cleaning. The reason I don't use that much water cleaning, first of all, I cook like a child. But second of all, disinfecting wipes. I always have these handy. These are great value, Walmart brand, but sometimes I have the Lysol ones. And then I can clean my plates, wipe them down with that after paper towel. Paper towel, always handy. I got my toiletry bag, which I guess we'll go through. What else you got in here? That's a tripod that I was using to film this video until I put you on a bigger tripod. I got a Tilly hat in here. This is my canoeing hat. But sometimes, yeah, it's really only my canoeing hat. I frankly think I look stupid in one, but they are functional and, you know, function over form. I have gas. I got my propane green bottles. I go through, man, I'm probably going to go through 8 of these on this trip, which is going to be about 70 days. That's my estimate, I guess, because I don't use my stove every day. Sometimes I use these when I'm like backpacking and stuff, or if I'm cooking in the van, I would use this maybe or whatever. So I probably use 8 pounds of fuel for my camp stove on a big trip. I don't know if I should get a big, I should probably get a 10 pound. Now that I think about it, I probably should get a 10 pound mini bottle and just carry it with me. I'll find a way to do it. I got aluminum foil in here. Aluminum foil is very handy to have. In fact, I actually have 2 rolls of aluminum foil in here because it is so handy. Very handy. We got a water bottle. Water bottle. This is fuel for my barbecue. My barbecue is not a real barbecue. It's a outbound portable. So my battery died right as I was talking about the fuel for my stove, which is this Woods butane fuel. And if you look over here, we have my Outbound portable grill. I bought this from Canadian Tire because it saves a lot of space in the van. This is my portable grill. I did not want to get a barbecue because even the smallest barbecue was frankly twice the size of this thing. So the only downside, I'm not gonna say the only downside, it is not the best thing to cook of. Having the roof on the barbecue is there for a reason. It cooks things better instead of just having all the heat from below. But it does require its own fuel. So now I have to carry these fuel bottles for my regular stove, these fuel bottles for my backpacking stove and my lantern. I have to carry these fuel bottles for my Outbound portable grill, which is kind of a pain. And then the problem is I don't necessarily find these everywhere, so I feel obligated to carry all the fuel that I'm going to use, which is kind of an estimate you don't want to be short on. So I'm carrying a lot of fuel, which is probably a fire hazard, but also I just don't really like to do it. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. That's what I'm doing. As mentioned, there's a backpacking stove. I actually think I have a second backpacking stove somewhere that I did not find with a little pot. We got hand sanitizer, and you know what? I did touch my portable toilet, so I'll use some of that. And we got a water bottle. This is I use it to measure for my backpacking meals when I'm on the go. I have a sword in here. Maybe it's a letter opener, I'm not really sure. My cousin Tommy, shout out to Tommy. I just visited him in Kindersley, Saskatchewan. He gave that to me, so now I have a knife with me. This is another nearly empty or empty barbecue fuel. Ziploc bags, they're always in the handy bin, ready to use as garbage bags. Also, garbage has to go either in the fridge, in a bin. One of my mouse problems I had earlier last year, I had a bag of garbage on the front seat that got moused, and it was disgusting. So now I'm a little more cautious with garbage. But I use them for garbage bags, I use them for food storage, I use them for poop storage. They're just good to have around. It's another water bottle. I got a rope. I got portable battery pack. I got a toque in here. This is a toothbrush for backpacking. This is my pouch for making food. Bear spray. More hand sanitizer. Another battery pack. A sock. This is my hydration bag for when I go backpacking. This is a camp stove that I gave away for 2,000 subscribers. Freeze won it, but I have not mailed it to him. I have a mouse trap in here. I brought like 8 mouse traps. Whatever that came in that box, I brought them all. I got a headlamp. I think it's a pair of socks ready to go. I got rope in here. I got clear Gorilla Tape. This is if I have to fix my canoe, or if I'm going to mail this out, I can use tape to tape up the package. It's good to have tape, you never know. I might have to like reseal a leak on my van if a window leaks or something. You never know what's going to happen. When you're on the road for this many days, literally anything can happen. So you want to be as prepared as possible. Things on the vehicle can break, so that's why it's good to have like tie wire, all the fluids you saw earlier, tools. It's good to have everything because you never know what's going to happen out here. I got more rope. I got a pocket knife. This is my buck knife. This is my backpacking knife / protection knife. Always on the ready. I got bike chain lube. My bike got absolutely beat up on the back of the van, so it's good to have chain lube because then you can kind of clean it up and then put a little bit of chain lube on there and pretend like it's good to go. What else I have in here? That's pretty much it. I got a mosquito bug net. This is my fire maple lantern. I got a couple notebooks on my tablet and an emergency pair of glasses. I got this pair of glasses, which is also sunglasses, but it's like clip-on. But they're my emergency glasses, because if you're out here, I've actually melted a pair of my sunglasses in sunscreen. I think that's something I haven't showed you. In aerosol sunscreen, I melted a pair of sunglasses. So you never know what could happen out here. So like, be prepared. Have a spare pair of glasses. You never know what could happen. I did mention sunscreen. So I think we're going to grab my tripod that came out of this bin. And right here, underneath my fire extinguisher, which I will say, always have a fire extinguisher. You are living in here and sometimes cooking in here. So you could start a fire. Also, there's electronics in here, which could catch on fire. And again, this is also a 1998 GMC Safari van, which frankly could catch on fire at any minute, at any point ever. So if we look in here, this is my secret spot. That's bug spray in here, and that's sunscreen. And I believe that's pretty much everything in my van. I will say this van is not for everyone, starting with the fact that it's a 1998 GMC Safari van. I have done so much work. Check out all the videos on here. I've done so much work to this thing. Literally on this trip, the exhaust almost fell off. It blew out. The muffler blew out. It's been a lot of work. It is reliable, but also not reliable, which is not for everyone. And then specifically the way I built this van is also not for everyone. I built it for myself, strictly as a solo traveler. And also when I have my dog, I could bring my dog with me. But he does not come. Well, he's dead now, but he did not come on these long trips with me. And if I get a new dog, when I get a new dog, probably won't come on these long trips with me, just shorter trips. But it fits us good, fits as well, would fit as well. You can't cook in here very well, which is not a thing for everyone. If I was full timing it in the van, I'd probably want a kitchen system that was better. Also can't really sit in the van. Actually, that's one more thing I do have. When the back, you cannot sit comfortably. You're always leaning back. If I were to fold this bed up, you can sort of sit on that rail, except I have things in front almost at all times. So you just can't functionally sit and hang out inside the van. That's not why I built it. I built it to go camping, so I could hang out here on a picnic table and campsite at the beach. It's not designed to hang out inside the van. One other thing I do have in here. My awning's in the way. This seat is on an ironclad swivel, so it rotates. I like it, and it's a very well-built swivel. It's expensive, but totally worth it if you're into that. I found that I don't really use it when I'm on these long trips. I stuff the front full of stuff, and I just don't rotate it. But hypothetically, I could sit on it, and that would be the best place to sit in my van. But that's not what it's built for. It's built for camping. It's built for getting out. It's built for going canoeing, going on these kind of adventures, cooking outside, not being inside the van, which again is not what everybody's after when they're doing a van life build. So specifically, this van is tailored to me. But that's it. That's the full tour of my 1998 GMC Safari van life tour. I have spent almost 6 months in this thing total in different variations, so I do have a little bit of street cred. But that's it. That's the full tour of my 1998 GMC Safari van. That's everything I've packed for this entire trip. And with that being said, I got to put all that shit right back inside. Peace.